welcome to this edition of Outside the Echo Chamber. We are coming to you here from the Frontier Studios, Charleston Gazette Mail Building, home of HD Media. Big shout out to the Media Center, Dan Shreve, Maria Young, our producer, and Ethan for all the good work they do to make this show possible. Hey, this morning we're going to be talking about all the good things the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation does to help everyone around this valley and across the state. But first, we're going to be talking to Deputy General Counsel and Communications Director for Homeland Security, Morgan Switzer. Joining her will be Jack Lukehart, the Director of the West Virginia Fusion Center. We're going to talk about Senate Bill 536. Senate Bill 536 got a lot of the conversation during this past session. What is 536? Well, that's the fentanyl bill. The fentanyl bill, it will become effective law on June 10th. So right here, this is a timely show. We're going to talk about the fentanyl bill and what that actually means. So let's dive right in. So this past session, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You guys were working hot and heavy on this bill called the fentanyl bill. 536, it was a governor's bill. It was a huge topic. A lot of debate on both chambers, the Senate and the House. We know that fentanyl is a dangerous drug. Well, we know. But what exactly is it? What is fentanyl? And why is it so important that we had to pass a law?
Well, fentanyl is a dangerous drug. I think we all know that. The way that it's affected West Virginia, it's very obvious. But the DEA actually estimates that it's 100 times more potent than morphine. Just 2 milligrams of fentanyl can actually kill someone. Depending on their body mass and their previous use, obviously that comes into play. But it takes a very small amount of fentanyl to kill someone. It's also estimated, it's very important to note, that drug traffickers actually sell this by the kilogram, that it takes 1 kilogram to kill approximately 500,000 people. So if you take the U.S. Census Bureau's recent estimation of West Virginia's population, 1.8 million, I'm no good at math, so I'll just kind of leave it up to you guys to correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that would round out to be about 4 kilograms to kill a little bit more than West Virginia's population. So if that could give you an idea of how dangerous this drug is, I think that speaks for itself.
Where does the drug come from? I mean, is it manufactured here? Is it made in America? No.
No, it comes from other countries, and it is shipped in, and primarily it comes into Mexico and is brought across our southern border.
So what? Fentanyl. I mean, one of the big things is you don't even know if you have fentanyl, right? It can be attached to other drugs and they make it more potent. Is that correct?
Well, a lot of times that's called adulteration, and that's something that the governor took into account when we drafted this bill. And you know, in response to how dangerous the fentanyl bill is, I'll just kind of tell you what it does. So this is also referred to as a possession with an intent to distribute bill, and it punishes people that are distributing fentanyl here in the state of West Virginia, but also it takes into consideration the fact that fentanyl is not manufactured here. It's manufactured in clandestine labs outside the state of West Virginia. It's being brought here from other locations, primarily Mexico. So the governor also took that into account. We were instructed to draft a bill that targeted those people. So the people that are bringing this drug in from other places are actually penalized with a determinate term of 10 to 20 years in prison. That was a huge selling point. The adulteration that you just referred to, Doug, a lot of drug dealers, they press fentanyl into other substances. You can actually mix fentanyl with heroin. You can mix it with Xanax. They can make the fentanyl look like something that it's not. So a lot of times, unknowing drug users that are intending to use heroin or methamphetamine or Xanax, they're actually getting dosed with fentanyl without knowing it. And that undeniably leads to higher overdose deaths here in West Virginia and nationwide.
So this bill, so I get it. I mean, it's deadly. I mean, you mentioned just a second ago, what, 4 kilograms can wipe out the whole state of West Virginia. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a deadly, no wonder we had to act so swiftly and react to this. So Senate Bill 536, let's touch on that for a minute. It was passed and then signed into law by the governor. I know you all worked in collaboration drafting this bill with the governor's staff and everything. Senate Bill 536, it amended the code by increasing penalties, like you just said, for distributing fentanyl in West Virginia and for transporting fentanyl in West Virginia from another state. And it makes it a crime to involve a person under age of 18 in distributing this. So Jack, What led to this bill, being created, and what have you seen with your role at the Fusion Center, the reason why that we needed this right now?
Well, as many people know, Doug, West Virginia is number one in the United States in drug overdose deaths. We are consistently number one, and we're also number one in neonatal abstinence syndrome, babies born addicted to drugs. We consistently are number one. If we drop out of number one, it's usually second or third in the United States. Also with that, the increase in the amount of fentanyl that is coming into our state from other areas. In 2018, there was just over 1 kilogram of fentanyl seized in the state of West Virginia by our drug task forces. In 2021, that rose to over 30 kilograms seized. So the increase is significant in the amount of fentanyl that we're seeing, and that's just what we're seizing. And as Morgan pointed out, it began with using fentanyl as a cutting agent. So you bring an amount of heroin or methamphetamine in, and you utilize the fentanyl and put it in there, makes your drug stronger. Now everybody wants your drug. It's gradually evolved from that to just pure fentanyl. Individuals selling pure fentanyl,
Which is deadly.
which is
Downright deadly.
very, very deadly.
So the Fusion Center, you came up with a lot of these facts and data, and that's what you all do. For those that don't know, your role is to assist law enforcement
That's correct.
and to help get them data to help fight crime and prevent crime and stop crime.
Correct. So what we do is identify the source cities, the source areas, the source countries, and we keep the statistical data to substantiate anything like this bill. It's easy for an individual to come forward and just say, well, I believe this is what's going on, but we have statistical data to support anything that we bring to the legislature or to law enforcement. So in addition to the seizure data, we collect data on all individuals who are arrested in the state of West Virginia for a drug crime who are not West Virginia residents. So with that data, we can go back and identify the source cities and the source countries, and we can also identify if these individuals are part of a drug trafficking organization, part of a gang, or are they lone actors who are just coming here because supply and demand.
I see.
So the goal would be to take that information, working with our partners in these source areas, identify these individuals, identify the drug trafficking organizations, and provide that information to law enforcement. We want to identify the enemy before law enforcement knows who they are.
And that goes along kind of hand in hand, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, the Narcotics Intelligence Unit.
Correct.
NIU, and that works directly with you guys as well, too.
That is part of the Fusion Center.
That's part of the Fusion Center, and that was the governor. Governor created this, I believe, to help monitor, arrest, seize people,
Yes, sir.
get the bad actors out of our state,
Yes, sir.
punish those people. So you're constantly trying to be proactive, keep
That's-
them out. Then when they are here, provide the data to make them to basically hold them accountable.
And
Yes, sir.
the governor understands, and with the help of the Fusion Center, we were able to collect all of this data to tell us, how dangerous this was, how prevalent it was in West Virginia. And I think that's what the bill does. So it punishes those people that are delivering fentanyl here in the state. That is punished by 3 to 15 in the correctional facility. If you're bringing fentanyl in from another location, you're punished by a determinate term of 10 to 20, which means your lowest sentence is 10 years. And if you're bringing that in from somewhere else, you get 10 years upon conviction. If you adulterate another substance with fentanyl, that means if you mix it with something, if you're pressing fentanyl into Xanax or you're mixing it with heroin, that's punishable by 3 to 15 years as well. Another new thing that we did with this bill is add that section of code that you mentioned previously when you use a child to distribute any type of drug. That's defined by under 21. If you use them, that's up to 5 years as well. So a lot of good things came out of this bill, and I think that it was in direct response to the governor's understanding of how prevalent drug use is and fentanyl use is here in West Virginia.
Do you think you raising the years and the sentencing, is that a deterrent? Does that actually help? Is that the intent here?
That's the intent, and I think that we'll see the effects of this bill after June 10th, and I think that it will help fight the issue that we have here in West Virginia that's killing our citizens.
It's unbelievable. So this was definitely warranted. I know everybody worked extremely hard in getting this bill across the finish line. It goes into effect, right? June 10th.
June 10th.
So the bill will become official. Can't wait to see, and that'll be your job, Jack. I think it's to track to see how effective this bill is. If we have to meet again next session and make it even more strong and stringent. So, well, hey, I appreciate all that you did
Doug,
to work to this.
I think just as important as the penalties and the enhancements is the fact that this bill in no way affects the individuals who are struggling with addiction. The individuals in our state who are struggling with addiction will not fall under this statute. The amounts that are there and the specific elements of this statute does not affect the individuals who are currently struggling with addiction.
The user,
The
Doug, I think that
users.
was a big conversation piece. That was
Yeah.
something that people did not like that came out of this bill. They were worried that the user, the drug addict, the person that was struggling with addiction, that's something that they were concerned about, that it would be punishing them unnecessarily because they're already being punished so much with fighting that addiction. And that's just simply not what this bill does. Like I said, this is called a possession with intent to distribute statute. That intent to distribute is very important. We have to prove as prosecutors that there is an intent to take this drug and give it to other people, or that there's an actual delivery of the drug. So somebody that is using and that just has a personal use amount of any drug is not going to be targeted with this enhanced sentencing.
Well, I applaud both your all's efforts in the governor's office for bringing this to attention, making this. We have to do whatever it takes. I mean, that's a deadly, one of the most deadly and poisonous drugs out there, and the stats are just alarming. Just a small amount and what it could do to all of West Virginia's population. So, Jack, I appreciate all you're doing there at the Fusion Center
Thank you,
and
sir.
being proactive in your work with the legislature and making this happen. Morgan, as communications director, I think you guys are on a whirlwind tour here, telling everybody, across the state why this bill was so important to get across the finish line. So thank you for all the work that you do, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Thanks
thanks
for
for being
having
here.
us. Absolutely.
You bet. Hey, we're going to take a quick break on Outside the Echo Chamber, and we come back. We have Rob Cunningham, the Homeland Security. He'll be joining us, Deputy Cabinet Secretary, when we come back.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
Proudly advocating for workers and their families, the West Virginia AFL-CIO is a group of 600 labor organizations representing 70,000 active and 70,000 retired union members. We represent first responders, healthcare workers, educators, coal miners, construction workers, plant workers, truck drivers, grocery store clerks, and every job in between. We believe every worker has the right to fair wages, good benefits, and a safe workplace. That's what the West Virginia AFL-CIO fights for every day.
A new day begins, and what happens today must be covered, reported, and passed on to everyone in the region we serve. We are journalists, staff writers, editors, storytellers. Who are we? We are HD Media, trustworthy and always here for the times we live in.
What started as the Parmar Oil Company in 1967 has grown into 116 convenience stores in 4 states. Parmar convenience stores offer monthly product specials and grab-and-go items. Located just down the street from where you live, Parmar stores are all about being your above-par convenience store. If you don't have a Parmar store near you now, you will soon. Parmar Convenience Stores, neighbors serving your community and making life a little bit easier every day.
Welcome back, everybody, to this edition of Outside the Echo Chamber. Right now, we're joined by Rob Cunningham. Rob Cunningham of Homeland Security. He's the Cabinet Secretary. He's the Deputy Cabinet Secretary under Jeff Sandy. He's a great person. I love working with Jeff as well. Deputy Cabinet Secretary for Homeland Security. You know, safety amongst our schools has been a hot topic here recently. So welcome to the show, and we're going to take a deep dive right into that, if that's okay with you.
Yes, sir.
So you guys sent out a press release, Homeland Security did. Department of Homeland Security, they remind the public of West Virginia Safe Schools Helpline. There's a helpline out there. It's Basically, it says, basically, following the tragic shooting of Robb Elementary School in Texas the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security is reminding all West Virginians about the Safe Schools Helpline. And that number is 1-866-723-3982. And basically that helpline is to do what? Just if you see something, say something,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Please do. If you call that number, it's manned 24 hours a day. It goes to our Emergency Management Division Watch Center, and they'll take the information and they'll get it pushed out immediately to where it needs to go.
That Emergency Management Division, what do? They constantly monitor threats or security issues? Is that what they do? Or?
Well, Emergency Management has a call center, which is, or they call it the Watch Center. That is, it's manned 24 hours a day. Have people, they'll get email messages, they'll get phone calls, and they make sure that information is relayed to law enforcement or fire departments, whichever need a contact.
So next week, the legislature comes back in session.
Correct.
And we're not really having a special session, but there's, I think, on Tuesday, a call to action by you all to the Homeland Security Department and yourself to meet with the legislatures, field questions, answers, maybe talk about what we're doing here to keep our schools safe. Is that the intent?
Yes, sir. I will be there Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the House chamber.
So do you have a plan of attack? Does your office constantly work to keep our schools safe? Do you have goals set out there and initiatives, or is this just a question and answer?
I think it's going to be more question and answer, and I will update the legislature about where we are as the Department of Homeland Security and in the process of making sure that all the schools are safe in the state of West Virginia. But we May 26th, Secretary Sandy assigned me the task of making sure that we have a state plan, and since then I've been meeting with all stakeholders, 911 directors, local police, state police, federal agencies, Department of Education. I've got a laundry list of anyone that has a vested interest in the safety of our schools. I'm getting input from them so we can develop a statewide plan.
You know, it's unfortunate. It always takes a tragic event like that to remind us that it could happen here. It could happen anywhere. But your office has done a fantastic job being proactive, trying to ensure, and go back, and you and I were talking earlier about what we need to do, and maybe, an audit to go around and see what we need to do to make sure our schools are safe, and make sure, revisit some of the personnel within the schools and just remind them what they can do on a daily basis and not take things for granted. They say the door was propped open out there in Texas and the shooter just came right in. The little things that sometimes we think twice. But also, we don't want to make our schools feel like a prison, make them feel like, that there's an armed guard everywhere. Is that correct? Is that the goal?
100%. In West Virginia, our number one commodity is our youth, our children, educating our youth. And we have to keep them safe to do that. But we also, you have to, when you're keeping the facility safe, you can't make it like an institution. You got to make it conducive to learning.
Fun learning environment.
Absolutely. And that's what my charge is to help develop a best practices, a best plan, so everyone's on the same page. Right now we have 55 different plans. Each county has their own plan.
That makes it fun for you, right?
Oh, absolutely. The Department of Education has a safety guideline that complies with each of the laws that they have to comply with, but it's not tailored to each county. So each county has different priorities, different mindsets, and what we want to do at Homeland Security is give everyone a best practices suggestion, and let the people in Hancock County and the people in Mingo County take that input and be able to develop the plan that will work best for them.
That's great to hear. You hit the nail on the head. We have 55 unique counties. Some counties have brand new schools and some have very dated schools. And so we can't, that's why I think it's so hard. Your job becomes so hard trying to bring everybody up to speed and create a system. So what do you do? Do you learn from other tragedies that maybe have happened across the country? Do you get reports from people like yourself and other Homeland Security departments in other states on maybe things that went wrong or how we can maybe act differently here to prevent incidents like that happening?
Absolutely. Since Secretary Sandy assigned me this task, I've started reviewing the after-action reports from several different mass shootings. School shootings is what I've been focusing on. Starting kind of in 1999 with Columbine was kind of the first big one that occurred, and I've studied the Parkland. The Parkland shooting. I've not dove too deep into the Texas shooting because I want to wait till I see the final report instead of dealing with maybes. I want to see the final report. And I'm currently reviewing the Sandy Hook after action shooting. And there's valuable lessons to be learned from each one of those incidents. Number one is communication, and number two is human complacency. That's what sticks out to me in each one of them.
Well, Rob, I appreciate all that you're doing. I know this is a tough task, and heavy hearts weigh on us all by the tragedy that's continued to happen out there and the aftermath and all that happened. So, I know your office and Department of Homeland Security is working hard. You said with 55 counties and all. I can't thank you enough for helping keep our children safe and making their parents feel comfortable when they drop those kids off. So thank you for all you're doing in the whole department, and tell Secretary Sandy we said hello.
Will do. Thanks, sir.
Thanks for being here. Well, we're going to take a quick break on this edition of Outside the Echo Chamber, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to Dr. Michelle Foster and all the good work of the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation.
The relationship between a lawyer and a client is based on trust. You have to make certain that the lawyer you hire has your best interest at heart. We typically meet our clients at the worst times of their lives, and it's our job to help them. Over the years, we've been entrusted with some of the biggest cases in West Virginia. That's because we have a track record of success and getting exceptional results. We built a reputation as one of the go-to law firms throughout the state of West Virginia.
Joining me, high-profile lawyer Ben Salango. Ben, it's a real honor to have you on.
In fact, many of our cases come from other lawyers. Lawyers who've worked with us, lawyers who've worked against us, and even those who've merely heard of our results. We're proud of the reputation we've earned in the community for providing exceptional, aggressive legal representation. When you hire my law firm, you don't get excuses, you get results.
People keep asking me how Todd Judy Ford has the best selection of vehicles at a time of national shortage.
The secret is our 130% of Kelley Blue Book for your trade-in.
Everyone wants to trade the car with us and get more money.
And now we're making it even better.
We will beat any other dealer's trade offer by $1,000 guaranteed.
If we can't beat it, we'll just give you the cash.
So bring in that car, upgrade your vehicle, and get top dollar for your trade-in now.
Just go to ToddJudyFord.com and see for yourself.
Here in West Virginia, we're known as hard workers, friendly faces, and people with a caring spirit. At Summit Community Bank, those qualities are at the core of all that we do. We're a group of experienced professional bankers that you've known for many years. We work hard to earn your business and will work even harder to help you succeed. We customize banking solutions that work for you. We're Summit Community Bank. Service beyond expectations.
Here at Dutch Miller Jeep in South Charleston, we realize car shopping can be challenging right now. That's why we're committed to holding your hand through this process. Don't see the Jeep you're looking for on the lot? Then ask about the Dutch Miller Advantage, which means you can order the vehicle you want faster, direct from the manufacturer. It's no wonder we continue to be the #1 Jeep dealer in the state of West Virginia.
For a limited time during the Jeep Celebration event, make no payments for 90 days.
Text or chat now at DutchMillerJeep.com.
Welcome back to Outside the Echo Chamber. I'm really excited about our next guest here, Dr. Michelle Foster, who's Executive Director of the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. She joins us today. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Doug. Great to be here.
It's great. 60 years ago, this new organization comprised of a lot of area philanthropists. It was founded here in Charleston, local community people, business people, whatnot. They all wanted to have a positive impact to help grow the Greater Kanawha Valley. And now you, as the executive director, get to reflect and celebrate those past 60 years, right? We have an upcoming celebration.
Yes, 60 years is a long time. So we're going to be having a week of celebrations to commemorate our 60th anniversary. I'm Michelle Foster. My title is actually President and CEO of the foundation. I've been there now 6 years, and it's been a joy just to lead the largest community foundation in not only West Virginia, but also Central Appalachia.
It's hard to put in the words all the good deeds you do. We see all the stuff that you're doing and all of the things that you touch, and then the fruits of your labor out there when you go back and you see the success stories. Being president, CEO, you see a lot. You see a lot, and you see a lot of applications come through. And so what is the overall, talk about, for those people that don't know, the mission, what the mission of the foundation?
Right. As a community foundation, we are a philanthropic leader that helps donors and nonprofits and other partners to really positively impact our communities, strengthen our community, so that the people and the places we serve have the opportunity to thrive. So we focus on a 6-county area, Boone, Clay, Fayette, Kanawha, Lincoln, and Putnam. So not just Charleston, but that 6-county region, to really make a difference in the lives of our fellow man. And really that is what philanthropy is all about, because the word philanthropy means love of humankind. So over 60 years ago, we had our founding fathers, as I call them, started gathering to figure out how they can make an impact in the community. And they came up with this concept following leaders like the Columbus Foundation and Cleveland Foundation that have been around a much longer time, really following their example in how to grow community philanthropy. So that's what we're all about.
And bringing people and their resources together to magnify their good deeds.
That's right, and to really help ourselves. So it's really local people who wanted to use resources within the community to help the community.
So like a most recent example would be the library, correct?
Library, beautiful space.
Beautiful space.
If you're listening and you haven't visited the new library,
I signed up. I got my card.
Oh yeah, I got a new card too.
I've got my new card.
Who knows whatever happened to my old one.
I took my kids there. They have their card.
Fun space.
It's unbelievable what you did there and the work that you did, and you guys were very instrumental in helping get that over the finish line.
Right. So yeah, we were one of the early donors.
Yeah, one of the first ones, I believe.
Making that commitment to the library. The Clay Center is our largest grant, $2.5 million. Our largest grant went to the Clay Center when they were getting established.
Is that your largest one?
The largest grant. So
that's another wonderful building. It's amazing all the buildings we have here, the public arts, the displays, and all that's happening around Charleston has your all's fingerprints on it.
It has, as well as the smaller nonprofits, as well as the basic needs nonprofits. Covenant House and Ray of Hope and all those places, we also support them.
And you help them because every year, I know every year they're continuing, because funds are scarce out there.
Funds are hard
and everybody
to
needs
find.
money, and what you'll do. So the first donation, I have a stat here, back in 1962 was $100.
$100. So we started at $100. And last year we're now at the end of last year we were at $329 million.
Wow.
So
unbelievable.
Boy, how far we've come. So
now, these grants that you give out, people, they apply for them. Is that correct? Or I think every quarter you give out certain grants.
Yeah, and we have kind of different buckets. So we have what we call our discretionary grants. Those are the ones where people can apply, work with our program officers. Okay. There are also donor-advised grants and donor-designated grants. So donors can, when we meet with them, they tell us their wishes, and we set them up in the type of fund that makes sense for them.
It's just fantastic, because when you organize it in the structure that you all have, and you have all these people, there's some prominent names. I mean, some of the founding members, I'll read them here, and you know them, but as for our listening and our viewers out there, Ned Chilton, once the publisher of the Charleston Gazette,
And,
Well,
and his daughter is now board chair.
That's right.
Susan.
That's right.
Susan is now board chair.
Susan, that's
so
right.
in that legacy of philanthropy in the family.
She does a fantastic job, and she's always. I saw her at the library at the opening the other day at the library. Another one was William Cook.
That's right.
Newt Thomas. I served with him on the Clay Center board. Charles Loeb.
Yep, and Charlie, his son, is still involved with the foundation and was board chair a couple of years ago. Yeah.
How many members do you have now involved, like on the board, or just all together? Or is it hard
The
to
board,
hard to
we have
imagine?
a 13-member board,
Okay.
but we have hundreds of volunteers because we have volunteers, like we have a huge scholarship program as well. So we've got over 100 volunteers who read scholarship applications and make those hard decisions of who to grant scholarships to. So we have a number of task groups that help to review our grants. So staff members are not just working in isolation and making those decisions themselves. We bring in community volunteers to really help us in the process.
I'm telling you, it's phenomenal work. I can't even express what you'll do. And now you have a beautiful location over there.
We are on the ground floor of Summer Street, 178 Summer Street.
On Fife Corner right there, right?
The hip and happening corner.
I was sitting
Everything's
there.
happening around there.
Sitting there enjoying my first lunch
Yeah.
at the new Fife Street Brewery and stared right at your beautiful
That's
facility
where
there.
we are. We love being on the ground floor and love being open and accessible to the community.
Let's
So-
you talked earlier briefly about the different events you have this week.
Mhm.
Let's go back and take a look at all the stuff you have going on to celebrate your 60th years. 'Cause
Right.
it's a remarkable celebration, and the work that you've done, I can't even. It'll take up numerous shows to go through everything you've done. But let's talk about the events that you have going on right now. The Steam for All.
It's almost like we're having our own little festival as a part of the celebration. So it's Sunday the 12th.
That's for kids, right?
For kids and families, just come on down to Steam for All at Slack Plaza, the new city center at Slack Plaza. We'll have hands-on activities in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So we've got the Clay Center coming, the library. We've got dancers and other
So that's-
partners presenting at between.
And it's all free, right?
All
Yeah,
free.
it's all free.
Between 3 and 5 at Slack Plaza. Monday through Wednesday, we have lunchtime with the arts. So that's live music and food trucks. So we're targeting people who work downtown to come down.
We have it
between
up on the screen there for
11,
people to see.
right,
So that-
11 and 1, again at City Center at Slack Plaza. And then it culminates on Thursday at the Clay Center, on the Clay Center stage, where we'll, reflect, show videos, talk about some of the highlights from our history. And we have our keynote is the chair of the Columbus Foundation, Doug Kreidler. He'll be our keynote speaker. We've got a video that incorporates the Charlie Loeb and Susan and folks who have had, their fathers and loved ones a part of the history of the foundation. We speak to them on video. So it'll be really an exciting week of celebration, thanking the donors who made it all possible and our community partners who get the work done. So.
And if they still want to participate in Thursday's event, they can buy tickets,
Tickets
correct?
directly at the Clay Center. Only a few are left.
Only
So,
if you get them while they're going.
Get them while they're hot.
Yeah.
Because we'll be actually on the stage, and there'll be dinner and cocktail hours and
Starts at
whatnot.
5 o'clock, and then dinner's
Mhm.
at 6. What a great celebration! I know you
Yeah.
all will be highlighting all the past 60 years and all
Absolutely,
your accomplishments.
it's an exciting time for our city.
Well, listen, Dr. Michelle Foster and all the people on the board, please send them my thanks
Mhm.
and gratitude for all the work that you've done and continue to do. This is a fantastic foundation, and the works that you get, I'm telling you, your fingerprints are on what makes Charleston and those 6 counties fantastic.
And we are just really thankful to our donors who made it all possible, because we don't, we don't get money from out of the blue. I mean,
It's all from
these
private
are
donations, correct?
all private
Individual
donations, individuals who contribute and who have the philanthropic spirit, and then we've got the nonprofit partners who get the work done. So
Well, thank you, and please tell all my friends over there that I said hello. And if you haven't, stop by and visit your new space over there, and
absolutely come on over
and participate in all the good work that you all do.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Doug.
Let's go celebrate.
Me.
Let's celebrate.
All righty, celebration time.
All right. There you heard it from President and CEO Dr. Michelle Foster, and all the great works that the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation has done for the past 60 years. God bless them. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, and we'll wrap up on this edition of Outside the Echo Chamber.
Looking for a friendly bank that you can turn to in your community? Bank where the decisions on your needs are made locally. With online banking and 7 locations. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
A new day begins. And what happens today must be covered, reported, and passed on to everyone in the region we serve. We are journalists, staff writers, editors, storytellers. Who are we? We are HD Media, trustworthy and always here for the times we live in.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us on this edition of Outside the Echo Chamber. We heard about a lot of fantastic work that the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation is doing. Dr. Michelle Foster and her foundation and her board and all those donors and the works that they do. Please celebrate with them. And thank you to our guests, Rob Cunningham from the Homeland Security and Jack Lukehart, and all the work that they're doing to help keep West Virginia safe. And the fentanyl bill goes into law on June 10th, which is a big impact to all those here in West Virginia. Bottom line is, send us your feedback. Give us comments. Tell us what issues you'd like to hear. Shoot us an email at outsidethechochamber@hdmediallc.com. Like always, tune in live at 9:30, from 9:30 to 10 every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Coming to you here from the Frontier Studios, the Charleston Gazette Mail Building in downtown Charleston. Or you can watch our episodes archived. It's charlestongazettemail.com, theheralddispatch.com. Until then, we'll see you next time on Outside the Echo Chamber.